Welcome back to Captain DLC Gaming Weekend Magic Time. It was a busy week this week, wasn't able to play much, so here on Saturday I'm excited to try out a new deck that I found watching Covert Go Blue on YouTube. CGB, a great content creator, go check out his YouTube channel. I'll leave a link in the description. He gives a better description of this deck. We'll quickly go over it. So like and subscribe to his channel. He's trying to increase his subscription count and a lot of good stuff coming from that content creator. So go check him out. So net deck this straight from his list. Point of the deck is Obosh. Everything's odd, hence the name Odd Ultimatum. Ultimately, we're trying to get to Ultimatum with Terror of the Peaks to outvalue the opponent. We got the Great Hinge in here as a favorite, and then Edgewall Innkeeper, a bunch of adventure cards as well. So this will be the first time I play this deck. Let's jump right into the standard rank queue. Currently we are in gold, trying to climb up to platinum, which is my ceiling so far. So let's see how this deck plays. You'll have to forgive me on misplays. This is the first time I'm playing this deck, so you can learn right along with me as we go into the games here and see how this deck does. It's got a lot of cards that I like in it. Interesting. So 2 islands to start. So I think we'll have to go get green. And then we can cultivate into others. We'll give it a shot. I'd like to have an earlier Bone Crusher depending on what our opponent's doing. Because we won't get any value out of the Edgewall Innkeeper unless we draw into it or play Bone Crusher Giant. But Fertile Footsteps or Cultivate on turn 3 is going to be key for us as we draw into another island. Wow, okay. That's interesting. We don't have that many islands in the deck. Kroxa. Ooh, woof. That's not fun. Sure. So I really don't want to throw any of this away. I think, oddly enough, we're going to toss out an island. I think we go ahead and crack this for green. Hopefully draw into a red source here. And wouldn't you know it, there it is. So we will play red. Have Bone Crusher Giant at our disposal here. I think if I play Edgewall Innkeeper on that turn, it would just get removed. Robert the Rich comes in. Yeah. And we'll stomp that. No, you can't steal my cards. Let's see. Beanstalk Giant or Cultivate. I think we're going to Cultivate here. And what do we need doubles of? Well, pretty much everything. We already got blue. So yeah, I think we just go green-red. Does this matter? Yeah, we want to double spell in green next turn. Working towards the mana base that we need for Ultimatum here. See what our opponent does on turn 4. They need to fill the graveyard to be able to bring Kroxa back. Fire Triton, yep, that'll help. One card away from Kroxa, unless they exile a Kroxa to get one of them out. And we see Genesis Ultimatum, a little bit early for that. So here we're going to Edgy, the Bone Crusher Giant, draw a card. Okay. We'll take the pathway. If we see Croxa here, I think we might have to ditch another land, which is going to feel real bad. Opponent's looking real hard at their graveyard, so I think we're going to see that happen here. Yeah, there you go. By playing that card, not only do they remove the Edgewall Innkeeper, but they give themselves the 5 cards outside of Croxa, I believe. Yeah. Took a while to figure that one out. Here comes Croxa. So we definitely want Ultimatum online. We need a 3rd blue. Yeah, I think it has to be the land. Beanstalk Giant's gonna have to do work for us. And is a way to get the land that we need. Lovestruck Beast. And that's a chump blocker for Croxa. Yeah, I think we need the 1/1, put Bell on the battlefield. And then, based on time, I think Beanstalk Giant, or Fertile Footsteps rather, is the play here. Then we can't deploy the Lovestruck Beast, which I think is fine for this turn. I think that's the, looking ahead, I think that's the best that we can do. And let's go ahead and buy Obosh, because we can. No attacks. Not really interested in trading the Giant with the Triton. Well, that option's being taken away from us, so no worries. Oh, double Bone Crusher Giant. Yikes. That's brutal. Genesis Ultimatum next turn is likely how we get out of this. That means we ditch Obosh. Is that the right choice? I mean, the double damage would be really nice with the Lovestruck Beast. If we can't deploy 2 of 7/7 next turn, that's tough. That's probably the wrong decision. I'm probably being greedy about wanting to cast Genesis Ultimatum for the first time. Oh, can we survive? If we have Terror of the Peaks out when we Ultimatum, that's awesome. If the opponent has more removal, if they draw into more removal, we're hosed. This is really down to the nitty gritty here. We take 2 from the Mire Triton. Or did we just Ultimatum? Let's Ultimatum. Yep. Yeah, we'll choose all 5. There we go. Now we're cooking with grease. Well, for the first time casting that card, never played with Genesis Ultimatum, that worked out quite well. Bone Crusher Giant comes down short. Murderous Rider short. We lose Terror of the Peaks on the attack from Croxa. It's unfortunate. Am I willing to trade with the Mire Trident? Does this deck play Shock? That puts us in Shock range. At some point we're gonna have to. Which is unfortunate. Another land. We really don't need. Does make our Beanstalk Giant better? Yeah, I think we get another Giant in. What happens if we don't have cards to discard? Each opponent who didn't discard a card loses 3 life. I think we want to keep that land in hand. Go ahead and swing in with the Beanstalk Giant because we can. Opponent 1 card away from Kroxa. But Murderous Rider won't go to the graveyard. Oh no, they're 2 cards away from the graveyard. Opponent says, good game. They gonna scoop it up? Oh, mistake on our part. Yikes. That was foolish of us. We went for the win and got punished by Beanstalk Giant. Woof. That's a sad way to go down. Well, you live, you learn. Don't go down to don't go down into shock range. Got a little hasty there. Let's play it back. See what we can do with another matchup here. Shouldn't have been quite so greedy there. Ultimatum and Hinge in our opening hand. Not quite what we want. Early on, we go first. We'll try it out. New deck. We'll learn. We've got the ability to get our colors here. Triumph's a good start for us. We'll match our pet to theirs. Alright, opponent making some tough decisions on their cards. End up going down to 6. Blue-red. What's being played in blue-red these days? Another Edgewall Innkeeper. Not quite what I'm looking for. We'll throw one out. There's a Lightning Rod. Pair the Peaks. Alright, so our big stuff coming into play. Let's ramp it up. Yep, Shock takes care of the Innkeeper. No surprise there. And let's see, what do we want the most of? Let's get a Mountain. And an island? We need double green for a couple of things. We have island and forest right now. Just worried about getting that third Third blue source. But we'll get there. The land base is pretty nice with the dual lands. I cashed in some wild cards, some precious gold wild cards, to play this deck and have a good mana base. Alright. So we could cast Terror here. That feels hasty with a deck that likely has a counterspell ready. Let's try for Fertile Footsteps, see if they counter it. And they don't. Go ahead and get our other blue source. And let's buy Obosh. And counter that. Alright, so we have 2 green, 2 blue, 1 red. So we need another red or another blue ultimatum. Yep. Stomp my face. Bone Crusher Giant comes in to apply some pressure. Love Struck Beast. Yeah, so we can get some value here. Another Edgewall Innkeeper. Got a good blocker for the giant here. Also, Great Hinge is a possibility next turn. Only a shock and an opt from our opponent so far, besides the Bone Crusher Giant. Curious how much removal they play in their deck. Removal and counterspells is what we want to watch out for as we try to put our pieces together. You get Stormcaller, okay. Copy the next instant or sorcery spell with converted mana cost. Do or less. Okay. Brazen Borrower. Sure. And then we draw our own. Irony. Opponent's tapped out, so let's get that Great Hinge going. I don't really want to bounce either one of those. So let's go ahead and throw down the Keeper. Draw. That's perfect. So that's untapped land. So red or green, either one's good. So we're going to go red. Now we have 5 mana available. But not the right stuff to get Obosh out. We want to draw another card. Why not? Another Genesis Ultimatum. Okay. So we can hold up Brazen Borrower if need be. Not really interested in bouncing anything that's currently on the battlefield here. MTGA already did its thing. Royal Eruption. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Stormwing Entity. They're gonna scry 2 and have a flyer. We could bounce the Entity just to make them play it again. They're running out of resources. Don't know what that last card is. Yeah, sure, you can have 2 damage. Not taking the risk there. Yeah, let's borrow. We get the Triome. I think we go for Obosh here, or Terror. If we're really greedy, we go Terror. That leaves us 6 mana. Not quite enough for the Giant as well. Let's try it. Draw into an Innkeeper. So 1, 2, 3, 4 mana available. Totally didn't count it correctly last time. We'll play the Triome. We can flash in the Borrower. Is that worth considering? Let's go ahead and draw another card. Get rid of the Stormcaller. Untapped blue. That's good. Alright, so we're going to pass the turn. We have Brazen Borrower with Flash to get rid of the Giant. Yup. Shock the Innkeeper. Stormwind Entity coming back in. Try 2, yep. So, do we use the Borrower to kill the entity or the Giant? I like taking out the entity so that we can get flying damage in. And opponent says, no go. Oh, come on, opponent. Stick around for the fireworks. Well, it was about to get really fun. Brazen Borrower in step, kill the entity, which gives us great attacks. Genesis Ultimatum would have slammed that. Got a ton of value off of Terror of the Peaks. And if for some reason we weren't able to just do the damage we needed there, Terror of the Peaks and Brazen Borrower would have run in for 9. And I think that would have been game one way or another. So far, liking the deck. Game 1, definitely a little salty on that misplay by getting greedy. Props to that first opponent for taking advantage of our greediness and sticking in till the end. And let's go ahead and play another one. We'll do 3 games right out the gate with this brand new deck. 1 win, 1 loss. See if we can get a winning record today. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, so 2 Terror of the Peaks in the opening hand is excessive. But we do have Innkeeper into Beast. So, sure. And the Triome to start us off. Three Terror of the Peaks. So Terror of the Peaks deck brought to you today. We'll get Bell out there. This looks like control, so let's go ahead and play the Edgewall Innkeeper. For a 2-drop, once it's out, they would need Glass Casket. And then here we can play an untapped land. Let's go red in honor of Terror of the Peaks being in our hand. And then let's Love Strike Beast. Draw a card, get that value. Oh, we get our other red. And we'll swing in, say hello. Another Edgewall Innkeeper, not quite what we're looking for. Go ahead and get our attack in. Getting aggressive here. So do we go ahead and play the Triome, or do we buy Obosh? I think that's where we go here. It's a little bit slower. In retrospect, getting Terror of the Peaks out next turn might be the great play, but our opponent getting into removal range... Oh, and we get punished for being overextended. Based on our hand, though, that's okay. I can accept those terms. Really need to get into some blue here. So while the opponent's tapped out, I think we have to take advantage and get our first Terror of the Peaks out. See if this can survive the turn. I expect they have something to deal with it. I guess it would have to be an ECD, another Shatter. Okay. Fine. Be that way. There's so many iterations of the Yorion deck that I'm not sure what is the most popular items to play. Okay, there's our first blue source. And with the opponent tapped out, let's try Terror of the Peak number 2. Yep. So they're at least expecting Obosh to come in with Terror of the Peaks. Archon. Okay. More red. We need one more blue, which is the Triome, if we do draw into Ultimatum. And here we still have 1 mana left over for Hazard. So we're going to try Hazard here. And the reason why is we want to exile the Archon. Alright, we're going to be a little tricky here. Then we're going to go in for the attack. If they block, they know it's getting exiled. Okay, that's fine. And then we play Terror of the Peaks number 2. And then the Triome. Set up for Ultimatum. Which if we top deck Ultimatum next turn, I will be so excited. Not so excited to play into Counter Magic though. Opponent hasn't revealed any Counter Magic. There's got to be at least something in their deck. Negates, I think, are a mainstay in Azoria's control Yorion decks right now. At least it isn't mine. And they just scoop it up. Alright. Next turn we would have gotten double trigger off of Obosh, which I think would have been definitely lethal, especially if they didn't deploy a flying threat. Yeah, 10. They're just dead on the cast. So, getting it done against control, I'll take it. I was more worried about a matchup with rogues, and I was curious to see if we don't just get completely run over by mono red. So 3 games, 2 wins, 1 loss, but that one was close. With this new deck, which I am really liking, Odd Ultimatum. So once again, thanks to CGB for putting the deck out Go check out his channel for more in-depth deck tech information and his games as well. Link will be in the description. Thank you for joining us today if you're still here at the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed the content. We will see you next time in the arena. Catch ya on the flip side.